Listen, you can hear it if you try. The city's screaming. A harsh, grinding noise under all the neon and the rain. This is a story about a city on the absolute brink, about the heroes who failed it, and the reinforcements who showed up just as the lights were about to go out for good.
Info City. It's bleeding out. Not blood. No. Something way worse. Trust. Coherence. Any sense of a shared truth. It's just leaking from every cracked pavement and broken screen, and something dark is seeping in to take its place.
The old protectors, the ones who swore to keep the Infosphere safe, yeah, they can hear the screams. But right now, their ears are just ringing with the sound of their own failure.
There were 5 of them. The Watchdog, a grim knight hunting for justice. Criticus, whose pen was sharper than any blade you'll ever find. Fact-checker, basically a walking library of truth. Captain Community, a real throwback, who once wove the city's fabric together, one person at a time. And the Entertainers, whose light used to dance on every single screen. They were the best. They really were.
So tonight, they meet in the Watchdog's tower, the rain streaking the glass like tears. They're finally saying what they've known for months. Their powers, they just aren't enough anymore. The world changed, you know? The rules got rewritten right under their feet, and now they're playing a game they don't even recognize.
Because the bad guys aren't just thugs in alleys anymore. Oh no, they're ghosts in the machine. Populists whispering poison into millions of ears all at once. Whole armies of bots that swarm and suffocate any little spark of real dialogue. Science for hire that builds these cages of confusion around people. See, they don't want to rule the city. They want to break it, shatter it into a million warring pieces.
But just when the city is about to drown in this flood of lies, a new sound cuts through the storm, and you know what it sounds like? Hope. 5 new figures emerge from the shadows. You've got the solutionist who doesn't just fight the darkness, but actually ignites this belief in a new dawn. Mediator Man, who can silence a whole mob with a single, quiet question. Captain Heartforce, who sees the hidden wounds that are fueling all the city's rage. Deconstructor, who reveals the invisible stories we all tell ourselves. And finally, Perspectivicus, the integrator, whose very presence just makes everyone stronger.
Back in the Watchdog's tower, you can almost feel this collective exhale. An alliance is forged, not out of desperation, but out of sheer necessity. Old powers and new. They are now the Fantastic 10.
And so the real fight begins, not with fists, but with a fusion of powers this city has never, ever seen before. This is the battle for the very soul of Info City.
First up, Criticus and Captain Heartforce. They move through a crowd that's been poisoned by divisive rhetoric. Criticus, with a razor-sharp logic, she just slices right through the propaganda, exposing all the lies for what they are. But see, that's not enough. Captain Heartforce follows, not with arguments, but with pure empathy, helping people understand the fear and the pain that made them so vulnerable in the first place. One exposes the wound, the other begins to heal it.
Then you have this pair, the Watchdog, out there hunting corruption in the halls of power, exposing the external threat. But right beside him is Deconstructor, and he's holding up a mirror to the Watchdog's own team and to the citizens themselves. He reveals the hidden biases, the mental shortcuts, the inner stories that make every single one of us susceptible to manipulation. It's a two-front war, against the villains on the outside and the blind spots on the inside.
Elsewhere, Mediator Man steps into that no man's land between polarized groups, and he creates these spaces for deep listening. And as he builds those fragile little bridges, Captain Community comes in and reinforces them, forging a stronger, more inclusive sense of we, one that doesn't need an enemy to feel united.
But here's the thing, these aren't just isolated skirmishes. The new heroes, they're learning to combine their powers, weaving them into this beam of pure potential. It's a light made of 5 core elements: a richness of perspective, an awareness of our own biases, deep empathy, a readiness for real dialogue, and this constant impulse to grow and develop.
And then you get the climax. The 5 new heroes unleash this super beam right into the heart of the Infosphere. But they're not alone. The Watchdog adds his raw demand for justice. Criticus adds her insistence on clarity. Fact-checker throws in the bedrock of truth. Captain Community pours in the warmth of belonging, and the Entertainers gives it the spark of engagement. All 10 powers, old and new, weaving together. And it's not a weapon. It's a light that doesn't destroy the darkness. It transforms it, feeding a healthier reality into the very code of the city.
The battle is over. The silence that follows isn't empty, though.
It's filled with possibility. And as the sun finally starts to rise, we see what a healed Info City actually looks like.
The people, well, they're different. They aren't just passive eyeballs consuming content anymore. They're more connected to themselves, more aware of their own biases and blind spots. They listen differently. They talk differently. They are more capable of facing the city's huge, complex problems, not as a screaming mob, but as a genuine community.
And because the people have changed, the city changes. Those big, impossible problems, they start to look, well, solvable. The deep divides, the one that separates us from our own feelings, from each other, and from the natural world, they start to close. The engines of polarization and destruction finally begin to power down.
Okay, but here's the kicker. This isn't just some made-up story. The battle for Info City is real. It is happening right now. And it's a battle that you can actually join.
This story is really an allegory for a real-world movement called integral journalism, created by Stefan Schultz. And there's already a community of over 100 journalists and changemakers from all over the world training and combining their forces, just like the Fantastic 10.
And you can become a part of this. You can join the community. You can sign up for coaching sessions and courses to develop these exact superpowers in your own work and in your own life. You can learn to be a force for healing in the Infosphere.
This is your call to arms. If you want to help build this future, if you want to be a guardian of the Infosphere, the training starts right here.
So what's the end game in all this? What kind of world does this victory really, truly create?
It creates a world where democracy isn't some tired, dusty concept people defend out of obligation. It becomes vibrant again, a shining, attractive, genuinely inspiring way for people to live together. It gets its light back.
And this is where we leave Info City. A child is born into this new dawn, a world where empathy, clear thinking, and real dialogue are as normal as breathing. They won't have to fight the battles we're fighting. So the only question left is, what new, incredible, beautiful worlds will they be capable of building?